Did I mention I'm super allergic to you? What's up, guys? As you can see, I folded. Ended up buying 4 rolls of insulation. I think it's more than I need, but we're gonna get started on trying to get the rest of this done while I've got 30 seconds to myself. So I'm gonna get all this unwrapped and figured out. I also bought some stuff for another project while I was out. And yeah, we'll get to it in a minute. Like I said, I really don't anticipate needing this whole thing. Just rub that down my whole arm.
Oh no!
Again, I don't know if I said it in the intro or not, but I'm super allergic to this stuff. That's gonna be so fucking itchy. Yeah, I think we're just gonna get rolling. But I don't really think I'm gonna need all this. You will in fact need all of that. But we're gonna see how it goes. Alright, I'm sure that you guys have seen enough insulation for a lifetime in this last video and now. So I am just gonna get to work hammering this out. I'm gonna turn the camera off, listen to a podcast or something, and do periodic check-ins, and we'll see if I remember to do that. Alright, so we've got about 95% of the wall done. There's a little chunk up there and a couple little chunks up there, and some patching I gotta do. I did end up using all 4 rolls. That was, I guess, just a miscalculation on my part, but what are you gonna do? So I'm kind of basically, I am going to be looking here. I don't know if you can see this green line here. So I've got this laser level back there. It's on a tripod, and essentially I know that this wall isn't actually level this way. So these are all going to be completely off. It was a whole thing when I was doing it. Anyways, I kept moving the laser level, and the floor is at different heights every 3 inches. So I've got 3 different lengths of boards. I am going to kind of try and figure out a pattern. I'm thinking like full length, or as close as I can get to full length, then shortest length, full length, mid length, full length, shortest length, blah 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 blah. So I'm not exactly sure. The thing that I'm curious about right now is how I'm gonna finish off on that end, because there's no stringer board running across, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna do there. But I will figure that out, and I'll keep you posted on that. So what we'll do is we'll grab a full-length board. We're gonna start around there. I'm gonna try and center it as best as I can, and then I suppose it doesn't actually matter as long as I have meat to bite on over here on my stud. You probably can't see that now, but as long as I have meat to bite on right here, I will, to get nails into, I will be fine, because those are an undefined length that way, and it looks like, I'm probably wrong, but yeah, I'm going to end up needing a second piece anyways. It doesn't really matter what I do here. I can butt this up wherever, and the seams don't have to stack, because the more random it is, the more old log cabinet is going to look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my nail gun, and we're going to attempt to hang a couple of these just to see what it looks like. So I am using 16 gauge, for anybody who's interested, 16 gauge, 1.5 inch long nails. Basically, you don't want to use something, same thing with drywall screws. If you're putting drywall up, you don't want to use anything longer than 1.25 inches or 1.5 inches, because typically in a real construction situation, if you are running electrical in a wall, you're going to be 1.5 inches in, because that's half the depth of a standard 2x4. So I'm basically using the same rules here. You know, mine are a little bit further in because they're 2x6s, but I like to be safe, so we're running 1.5 inches. That, and they're more expensive to buy more of those. The board, I'm not so worried about the other edge, because the other edge is going to get trimmed off and cut out for trim when I do the window trim. So, okay, that right there looks actually good. Okay. So now, we're going to attempt to not nail our finger in place. And we should. So we've got one board up here. So I can go either on the top or the bottom, doesn't super matter at this juncture. And again, this edge over here doesn't matter as much to me, because I'll end up trimming it off anyways, so that I can put either trimmer on the window or a cabinet or whatever I'd end up doing. So the more important edge is that this side over here lands in the middle somewhere. Like I said, it's not uber important, because all of these are going to be different lengths anyways, because they're all 30-year-old fence. So as long as it lands somewhere where I can butt another one up against it, like this, then it doesn't really matter to me how far over on the stud it is. As long as I can nail both sides of this down so that it's not going to look awful when I pick it up, then I am alright with whatever it ends up being. So, I know that's going to be kind of hard to picture in your mind's eye. We'll take our mid-lane forward and make sure we're lining up on that edge over there. And also, so if you start in the middle from a level line, you know that you're going to be level all the way down, you know, assuming that you're working with flat edges, which I am not. And also, nothing on this is going to line up. There's always, on old work projects, I don't care who you ask, it's gonna be a pain in the ass. It can be less of a pain in the ass if you set yourself up in ways that are not going, you know, to make your life harder. But trim out on like a remodel, or especially something like this where farmers don't care about if it's super square, super level. I mean, as long as it's functional. Let me turn the beacon of Gondor off and see if we can actually see this thing.
The beacons are lit! Gun knuckles for aid!
It appears as though you cannot see this thing. So, that actually doesn't look awful. I think that's going to turn out pretty cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see how this keeps going. I got to figure out how I'm going to do my pattern going forward that way. I'm guessing I'm just going to go full lengths because this also applies to like flooring and stuff like that, but you want to have at least a 3 alternating pattern, and then that way you don't have your seams stacking. It's going to make your wall stronger, like laterally, and then it's also going to not look like dog shit. And if something starts to buckle, not every one of the seams is going to buckle in the same spot. This would, you know, this obviously applies to a floor, but like same general application on a wall. But so if I stacked every one of the seams right here, then if this stud pops out a little bit, every one of those is going to go whoop and pop out at you. But if I've got an alternating seam here, there, and here, then I'm going to have a lot more strength because I don't have one single pinch point. I have 150 pinch points that way, you know, and up and down and everything. And it's just going to give you a lot more strength, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Me just rambling. So, in any case, I think that actually, like I said, I think that looks pretty cool. If we end up going here, this is the problem, is that none of this is exactly square or exactly level. None of it's going to be at the exact same level. So if I try and pre-cut things, then I'm going to give myself a headache, because I'm going to try and force things in and waste material by pre-cutting things, whereas if I just unfortunately cut every one individually, which is probably going to have to happen because the stud spacing's so wonky in here, then I will save myself a lot of material but lose myself a lot of time. Kind of just the nature of these things. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to figure out a brace in that corner so that I have something to nail to, which is pretty much gonna be the problem all the way along. I don't know if you can see up in there, the stud's end, right at the rim board there. And I don't particularly want to cut 8,000 little pieces to go up there. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna do there yet, but I will sure as shit figure it out. How's it going, party people? As you can kind of see over here, bring you over here a little closer. Got a little bit more done from the last time you probably saw. I've got enough to go all the way up the wall. I should, like I said, with the slant on the roof and everything in the first video, I should have plenty to cover. We're gonna kind of discover that together as we go, because I can't be bothered to count all those boards. There's a lot of them, and I straight up just don't care enough. I'm gonna go on each side and gonna get all the way to the floor. If you're wondering why I started in the middle instead of the top, I think I might have said this or touched on this in the first video. Basically, the floor in here waves all around and it's unlevel and everything, so what I'm gonna do is I'm taking my level across from this side. I'm gonna use my level over here, my laser level, and I'm gonna go all the way across on this side from that point to get my start in the middle, because the floor is unlevel. So if I try and just butt them onto the floor and then bring it up and we get to the middle here, we are most likely going to, that was weird. Anyways, we are most likely going to run into an issue where they are very, very uneven, or we're gonna get big gaps, or it'll be at different levels completely. So we're gonna go from a middle level, and then we'll work our way down. And then this is true with tile and stuff like that too. So you'll start in the middle of the wall, because if you start at the bottom, you're gonna end up misaligning something, because the wood and the tiles are the shape that they are, and they're the size that they are, and they're not gonna change. So if you start in the middle with a completely level line, then you know whatever happens at the bottom or the top, you can fix. If you in the middle of the wall fuck it up, you're gonna have to restart. So I'll bring it all the way down, and then probably what we'll end up having to do is rip a board like lengthwise at an angle in some capacity, or I'll get close to the bottom and then I'll put a trim board across and just kind of leave that however it is. Yeah. So in any case, that would be why you would want to do that kind of thing, so that you're not having to worry about running into uneven lines and stuff like that. So we're gonna make our own straight line on the wall, and then once the wall's up, you'll never notice that all these studs and everything are all wacky distances apart, because it'll be covered. So it's common practice in drywall and all that kind of stuff, is cover up what you don't want to see. Okay, got the first board up over there. I was just doing that while camera was off, because you couldn't really see the line anyways. So we're gonna just kind of keep trucking through here. It'll be a lot of rinse and repeat, just like the rest of the project, but you know, kind of satisfying to watch it go up, I think. When I know there's going to be an overlapping piece here, I am going to leave the last bit unnailed. This one I nailed all the way in because it's my level piece. I want it to be meeting up, but for the rest of them, if I know there's going to be an overlapping piece that I have to squeeze two pieces in between, I'm going to leave these last two unnailed, and then once I get it in there, I'll pop it up so that the gap closes up, and then I'll nail it in there. So just so you have an idea of what we're working on here and how we're handling different situations. I know I want two nails on either end, because, so if you can see right there, there's a split in the wood, and that's naturally going to happen because there's a curved face on here and it's just old dried out wood. So I'm basically putting a nail in above and below the split, just to avoid future splitting, and just, you know, do what I can to help with that. So on the ends of boards, I'm doing that. In the middle, not really necessary unless there's a big split there already. And I know there are going to be a lot of gaps in this wall. It's not meant to be perfect. I know that. I don't want to put plastic barrier on the back of this and then trap moisture in the wall. So we're just going to let it breathe and hope for the best, basically. I guess I don't really think about this, but you will notice that I am, oh, well, maybe you won't notice from further back. So when I'm looking to move a board around a little bit, I'm gonna tilt the gun up or down depending on what I need to do. So if I need to hold it, you know, towards something down, I'm going to push down on the board, and then also angle the nail down so the head on these nails is dragging it down to where I want it to be. So just a little food for thought there, if you're ever finding yourself in a similarly inclined situation. Oh, that's what I was getting at. When I'm doing the end of a board where it looks, you know, most of these are split kind of a little bit on the end anyways. So when I'm doing the end of a board, I'll do the top one first to push it down, and I'll angle the nail gun down, and then I'll do the bottom one up a little bit because I know it's in place already. I just want to hold the board together. So that way you're kind of doing a pincher maneuver, and then you're not going to get as much splitting. Okay, so this is not the greatest solution, but it will work, and that's what I got. So basically I'm gonna shove this up behind the wall that I've got on the right side, because essentially the box is gonna be longer than having two boards together, so I'm gonna end up having to join them in the middle, which sucks, but it is what it is. So I was not expecting it to go up this easily, to be completely 100% honest, because nothing ever works out the way that I want it to. And now that I've said that out loud, something really jarring is gonna hit me in the face, but you know how that goes. I'm gonna rip this side out without the camera on. I think I gotta go make dinner, so I will be back when I get back. Did get a decent chunk done here. Might not look like a whole lot, but that was a lot of work getting all these angles cut here. I did end up changing the pattern up on this side just so that I can conserve on material. Unfortunately, didn't get as far as I wanted to, but you know, such is life. Unfortunately, I'm human. All right, next day. Basically, all I gotta do is find another piece. I'll show you here what I did. This is not the right way to do it. Again, I know that. Don't super have another option because I don't have a ton of money to put into this. But essentially, I don't know if you can see that. So up in here, I've got a board. I did the same thing down in this corner. And this is just an easy way to do it, is basically I made a big corner where there wasn't anything, and then there's a board here that runs to here. Now I'm nailing a board behind here, behind this one, to this one, and then from there I'm going to take another longer board from there. I'm going to take another longer board and put it on the front of this one and run as far as I can up that way until I gotta join it again, up that way until I gotta join it again, and that's gonna get us what we need, because we're not going to be pushing on the corners. As far as space goes, for the most part, that last 6 to 12 inches, depending on, you know, up the wall, is going to be kind of functionally useless. And again, same thing goes for the rest of the roof line up here. I'm never going to have to, or at least I don't suspect I will, have to put anything load bearing onto any of that section. I'm going to be, the boards are going to be nailed down to the studs, right? They're getting their strength from that, and they're gonna hang on to the wall just fine. You know, this is all up to your opinion, whatever, or up to your, whatever your needs are for your project. But for me, this is a barn, again. Even if I do wanna, like, maybe hang a picture up over there or something, I've got enough strength from the studs that will carry the load over. And I'm not really gonna be hanging anything off of there. Like, even if I put a shelf up over there, I'll be going to the studs like 10, 15 inches away, and we'll be good. Got a board. Basically, I'm just holding the board up here, and I am leveling it out as best I can. Then I know there's a bunch of nails up here, so you gotta be careful doing this. Essentially, you want to kind of hold your pencil out to the corner of your board, so wherever that's gonna be, and then hold it in that same distance, and you mark it against there. Just drag up along the angle that you're gonna do. And I've got a pretty rough line there. You can see that's kind of curvy, but I can correct that with my square, or I can correct it with my eyes. It's a rough fit, but I'm gonna trim everything anyways, probably, so, and if I don't tell anyone. Hey guys, it is about 12:30 in the morning. I am getting ready to wrap up here. It's been a long day, a lot of stopping, starting, and all that kind of shit. Sorry I didn't film the whole process. It's just been banging my head against the wall and then in and out of the building all day, taking care of stuff. So either way, as you can probably see behind me, I got quite a bit done in the couple hours I was in and out. But the hard part is over now. I don't have to dodge around anything. I can kind of just rip. So probably tomorrow I will film most of the rest of this going up and give you guys a speed up version of it, because it's kind of boring watching me do it. But you know, I think it's actually gonna work out. I was a little afraid there in the middle, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, man, I don't think I'm gonna have enough. But on these higher rungs, I'm actually only using like 5 boards, and I've got a pretty decent amount left. So yeah, so I'll give you a little walk around here. I got that whole lower section done on both sides. I think it actually turned out pretty nice. And then once that window's all trimmed out and all that shit, I think we're gonna be in pretty good shape. It's looking a lot nicer than I thought it was gonna be, not gonna lie. To be honest with you, it is 30, probably 20, 30-year-old fencing that we were literally just gonna burn. Like, somebody brought it over here to throw it in my burn pit, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. So, another day, another dollar. I'm gonna get started on going up. We're gonna try and get this ripped out today. I know I've been saying that, but continues to be true. So, yeah, I'll just update as I go along, I guess. We're done! Yay!
Shit. Did you wire the boxes up yet?
Bruh.
Kill yourself. Alright, wait. Yeah. Alright kids, I am tired, I am covered in dust, and it is 11:11. Make a wish. The wall is done. I got it out of the way so you can see it. I'm gonna call it on this video. I'm gonna probably end up doing the electrical and the bench seat next time. Here, I'll back up so you can kind of get a better view here. Turn the light off so you can see. I think it warms the space up pretty well actually. Turned out better than I thought, honestly. And we ended up having some material left over, so I'll be able to use that. I think the next thing, like I said, is probably going to end up being the electrical and bench seat, probably the shelves first, or well, maybe the bench seat. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So we're going to work on that next, and I think that'll be the next part in the series of my studio build here. I'm excited. I'm excited about how it's coming along. I think without the big bright white light on, I think it turned out pretty well. There's a little bit of trimming up and stuff to do, but like, you know, for the most part, turned out pretty good. If I had, you know, if I didn't have a life and I was able to work on this 24/7, I probably could have had it done in a day and a half, but there's just a lot of life and a lot of little fine, minute cutting around stuff and figuring angles, and I was working alone a lot of the time, which body doubling changed my life when I learned about it. So when I've got somebody else even to just sit in the room with me while I do it, it increases my productivity tenfold. So that was really helpful today, and last night I ended up getting a lot done. So hopefully this video isn't as long as the last video, because I get the feeling that not everybody wants to sit through a hour-long video like I like watching. So I'm gonna try, I don't know, let me know in the comments how you like the length on the videos. If you like them a little longer, cool. I like watching things through from start to finish, and that's just me. I watch a lot of like Junkyard Digs and Pole Barn Garage and stuff like that, where they do hour-long videos, and you kind of get to see the whole process, and you learn a little bit along the way, and I'm into that kind of thing. But if you guys are more interested in the short, quick videos, like more succinct and compact videos where I teach you, like, you know, step by step stuff, I could do that too. Maybe like a how-to type series. Yeah, I think on these bigger project builds, this is kind of what made sense for me, was the longer video. But if that's not what you guys are into watching, I totally understand, because that's a lot of time commitment. I think we will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching Goner's Garage, and I didn't forget to say it this time, so we'll catch you later. Bye.